Munda. Junko Waratsuma is the video umpire. Japan. US win the toss. Now, Jia. The Chinese captain and lovely from Alicia Newman congratulating Ye Zhao on the milestone just acknowledged. Kelsey Bing starts in goal for the USA in a 4-4-2. Kraus, Kischer, Hamill and Zimmer, who will have pace down the right-hand side at right back. Jaeger, Devedine, Carls and Shoulder. Emma Devedine playing today. Sister out injured currently. Sessa and Tamer start up front. Sessa skillful, Tamer quick. Look to get some goals for the USA, who have only scored twice so far in the competition. Rizzo, Volgamuth, De Vries, Galini, Gonzalez comes in. Sunfest, LePage, the bench for the USA. Zhao will start in goal for Alison Annan's China. No surprises there on her 100th appearance. They'll play a 4-3-3 against the 4-4-2. Gu, Ao, Dan Wen and Chen Tong the back four. Dan Wen dropping back into centre-back for China today. Yang Yu, Ma Ning and Zhang Xiaoyu play in a midfield three. And up top, Zhou Meirong, Liu Hua, Fan Junzhua. Front three that will look for goals, despite a number of players with good goal scoring records in this competition being left out today. Li, the backup goalkeeper, Zhang Ying, Li Hong, Xu, Zhong Juaqi, who's dangerous up front, Tan, and the inexperienced Hao Guo-Tim. China's last game in the Pro League for this mini tournament, as it's phrased, although rather a more maxi tournament this year, with the fact it takes in two venues and more teams than last season, a development which we'll discuss during commentary in a moment or two. USA, penultimate match of a monster tour, the longest they've ever had. Welcome to the action. China get underway with Ma Ning here at the Bursa Munda, the largest all-seater hockey stadium in the world, just over 20,000 seats. It's in the Guinness Book of Records. My name's Dan Strange and Helen Richardson-Walsh is alongside me. Helen, we heard from both coaches and Dave Pass more specifically saying how at times this tour has been difficult for his team. How do they, against China today, get some positivism, potentially some points from this tour?
Yeah, I mean, listening to Dave talk about this is, what was it, day 47? Goodness me, that is a long tour. That's almost like cricket kind of tour standards. That's a long time to be away for hockey players and coaches, and you know, the stuff that he was talking about. They're the big wins that they can actually get on this trip. Just trying to get in their first opportunity, but
shot originally coming from Jan.
Yeah, I think, you know, being away as a group, they can make massive strides in their culture, which is one of the words that he used. You know, learning about each other, learning when to stay together, and actually when that time is needed to be away and apart from each other. And these are all great lessons. Yes, they're off the pitch, but all great lessons in building up for that, you know, the Olympic Games, which they will qualify for. And today, you know, I think Alison Annan spoke about it as well. It's just that mentality of improving with each game, and that's the same for USA. You know, what can they develop in this game? What small things can they get better at, which can build that momentum over time? Still many months before Paris, and they'll be looking to make those gains, I think, particularly in the attacking third, and trying to create more opportunity, and then obviously from that opportunity scoring more goals.
Kraus offloads. US looking to build forward. Good press here from Zhang and China, making life really, really difficult as a cross-stepped Xu Wenyu. Here is Zhang once more. Zhao Zhu moves it on to Zhao Meirong. Nice tackle from Jaeger. And the results to the circle go China, and Ma Ning here is asking for a review and doesn't need it because on referral between Alicia Newman and Christy Robertson. Wrong. Nice tackle from Carly Kisher says no, I'm going to review this.
Given a penalty corner for an American foot, they're saying that it is hand. Do you check? Thank you.
China have got away with one here. They would have lost their referral if Newman hadn't changed her mind and given a penalty corner.
This came from a decision of Christy Robertson down the other end signalling or telling Alicia Newman that she believed it had hit her foot, and you can see on both counts why Alicia Newman didn't think that was a foot, but then why the other angle suggests it may have been.
Yeah. Decision. You can restart this. Sorry. You've seen a hand?
Yes,
Yes.
it was hand.
Okay. And we'll restart with the police.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
China were going to refer straight away, and actually I think that's a real positive that I've seen in China's kind of development under Alison Annan. They are going to the umpire and asking for those referrals a bit more and being really positive about it, but they would have lost out if Newman and Robertson hadn't actually changed the decision.
Sana Carls and Marning with the bully. Sana Carls fouls on. Of course, we've spoken about USA being on a long tour. China, who do play within a centralised programme and have exceptional and inspirational coaches within their setup. They train a lot at home in China, but also they've had the Asian Games, which was a 2-week tournament, which they were, of course, victorious in. They've had the Asian Champions Trophy in India back in December, which was, 7 to 10 days, probably more than that, actually, away from home, just north of where we are now, in Jharkhand. This is a Disha, although it's not actually that far from Raikkola to Ranchi. Of course, no Olympic qualifiers for China, but they would have been in camp back in China, and then this tour, which has been another 2.5, 3 weeks. So equally, they haven't been away for as long, but they've had a long time, a lot of work to be done as the ball's passed off the end line. And Debadine, I think it was, making the error, but the USA showing positivity going forward. Good steal from Emma Debadine. Changes galore, and the USA restart 0-0 at the moment. This player for China is Zhang Ying. Through the middle. Stroke of luck, but I was going to say well moved on by Tamer, but she missed the page she was looking for. Gu Bingfeng there, who very, very good drag flicker. To the top of the circle, Zhang Ying. The crowd go wild, the ball pops up dangerously. Of course, the thing in the conversation with Alison Annan at the start of the game in the interview, what we're seeing with this Chinese team, as we see, and you mentioned how aggressive and positive they're being, is what she has brought in, but it's taken her time to create and generate, is an out-and-out winning culture within Chinese hockey. And I actually think the way the Chinese women play is now starting to have a really positive impact on the Chinese men's team as well.
Yeah, interesting. I think Chinese women's hockey in particular, obviously it was really strong in the build-up to the Beijing Olympics, and it did dip quite a lot. But looking at where they are now, and they are really getting much stronger, and they're going to be a team to contend with in Paris, that's for sure. They've always been really strong. They're very strong on their forehand, but also their backhand. I love how they trap the ball on the backhand, being able to make those really strong traps in and around the circle, away from defenders. defenders. I think Alison Allen's just bringing that European style a little bit, winning mentality, like you say, learning how to play the game, to win a game rather than just playing the game.
Renier Gonzalez offloads, just misses the run of Sunfest, one of the couple of scorers for the USA in this competition. And of course, don't forget, because backstick from Cassie Sunfest and a penalty corner has been given, this will give China a really good opportunity because of the likes of Gu Bingfeng. That's a blatantly obvious backstick.
That's an easy decision for Newman then.
Sunfest's face said it all there. No protest, no question.
Could be a bit of card as well.
Gu Bingfeng right hand side. Goes the other way. Three castles and a goal. And it's scored by the captain. Now, Georgia, straight through and 1-0.
They almost had three trappers at the top. And, I mean, disappointing really for being in goal. It's gone right underneath her, I think. Yeah, it's just that little gap under the shoulder. Yeah, you just see she tried to pull it in too late. Needs to be a little bit flatter with her body to just get that. Should have been a simple save, really.
She scored against Great Britain back in 2019. She has now 7 career goals with that one. Scored against Thailand at the Asian Champions Trophy in Ranchi back in December. So, in real career terms, bearing in mind she's played 156 times, she's going through a very good patch in her career goal scoring wise. 2 of the 7 within the last 3 months. Let's China get on the roll, exactly. Let's China get going again. The interesting point with China as well is, and same actually for the USA, with how the Pro League is structured at the moment, and I think these extension of these mini tournaments to bring 5 teams together and create more of a tournament feel is actually a caravan feel is a real positive move. But both China and the USA never play at home. And one thing I would say with China, having covered them in Hangzhou at the Asian Games, is in front of a noisy and partisan Chinese home crowd, it does add an extra dimension to the Chinese team.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, every team, kind of well known, and actually it's backed up by research as well. That home advantage is massive. And actually, yeah, that's it's a really good point that shouldn't. They do actually then have a really quite strong disadvantage. That fact, something that probably needs to be looked at.
The thing with the league as well is it's one of those where I think with any league in the world it's never going to be perfect. You can never find. People always ask, they always want, okay, you want home and away single matches. Tried it, didn't work, right? Impact on players, impact on the planet, impact on how the league works, doesn't work. So we tried that, fair enough. We look to the options, you move on from it. Like you say, there is a disadvantage of playing away from home all the time. But equally, it's also about finding where it's going to fill the biggest stadiums, I suppose, for the matches that don't involve home teams as well. And I believe at the moment that actually we've got quite a good balance on that, because you do still have people in here watching. China versus USA. Oh, that was very close for Volgamuth, and she just about got it right.
Yeah. Great pressing from China all around. The USA defenders made a great steal, but that was a very well timed tackle in the end by Volgamuth.
Some news from the American camp, which is really interesting in the run-up as we see the replay again.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good tackle actually. Very strong, but she had to get that right, otherwise it could have even resulted in a penalty stroke.
Some interesting news from the US camp ahead of their Paris prep after this is they've actually pulled 2 players out of their college year to join the squad, to increase the squad size to 28. Forward by the name of Sophia Glado, who I believe her potential and her talent is very highly touted in the USA. The other one is actually the captain of their under-21 team who went to Santiago just before Christmas, December 2023, Lauren Wadas, who has come in as well. And of course, that's one of the things for the USA is so many of the players that are aiming to be within the system or within the college system, which doesn't necessarily lend itself to an international sporting career. As swing from Tamer. So the news, the 2 players have actually had to defer a year for exactly that reason. Lovely skills from Zimmer.
Yeah, good work from Zimmer. Hit down the baseline, just missing out.
De Vries it was. Sorry, De Vries it was in the middle who just missed the ball. Tackle by shoulder. USA just winning more of the midfield battle today. Pops back to shoulder again.
Yeah, and actually, sorry, just going to say, like, that's one of their strengths in USA, you know, the energy that they bring and the fight. And that's probably one of the things that is going to be tested the most, and the fact that they're day 47 of their tour, like how much can they bring that? Can they bring that again and again and again? Normally the answer is yes, but it really does test their resolve on a tour this long.
Someone gets told off. I think it was Emma Debadine who had a bit of a laugh predicament. There's definitely a snick on that, but not able to keep it in. Leah Krause. What's the longest tour you ever went on?
Just trying to
I knew I was going to ask you
yeah,
that.
just trying to think. I think
Dave Passmore up there.
I think I only did about 3.5 weeks, maybe. Oh, actually, the Sydney Olympics was probably the longest one. I think that probably went to 4 weeks. But that's broken up because you go to a holding camp and then you go into the Olympic Games, so that's a little bit more exciting than, you know, your average tournament. So, yeah, 4 weeks is probably the longest. Yeah, nothing like this.
Inside from Fan Yuncha. Lovely turn from Ali Hamill. She's had a productive competition at the back for the USA. Focus from her. Of course, the 2 teams played in Bhubaneswar, which has been a really established venue for a long time now, especially for men's competitions and tournaments. Indian women did play back there in 2019 for the Olympic qualifiers against Yannicka Shotman's USA, and that's not a slip of the tongue, it was Yannicka Shotman's USA back there. Very exciting double head at that time. This is Rourkela, which, if you're not aware of the geography of India or Odisha, it's the same state as Bhubaneswar. It's more in the northern part of Odisha. It's in a region called Sundagar, which is a very famous hockey playing region. So it's a region steeped in hockey heritage, which is why there's been so much investment in this stadium, which was originally built for last year's 2023 Men's World Cup. As I said, Helen, the other day, I think the crowds in here watching the women's games really giving an opening and an opportunity for India to look forward to a Women's World Cup in the future.
Yeah, I'm just so pleased to see women's hockey in India. I only got to play there once because that was because of the Commonwealth Games. And yeah, I mean, with all the history that you kind of think of hockey, you think of India. But it's men's hockey that it's been, and you know, to develop the game, you need to see women's hockey in India, and it's great to see. And yeah, I think you're right. You know, there's been a lot of men's tournaments in India. Maybe that might subside in the next few years, and it can be replaced satisfy Women's World Cup for sure.
Be lovely to see. So, of course, the potential re-emergence of the Hockey India League and how that will take format. So much talent, as we talk about in Pro League, equally amazing action, and it's not a narrative you really have to work hard to push forward, because we see all the highlights and all the goals from both leagues, and they are phenomenal. As lovely hands from Jairon, moves the ball on to Lua, into the circle it goes, and the USA did really well then not to give a penalty corner away.
Yeah, they did. A lovely skill from Jairon in the middle.
Jairon pushing China forwards. The hooter goes for the end of the first quarter. It's been a fairly even game so far, but China holding the lead through the erring goal of Kelsey Bing and the goal from Out Jaji, who scored on 7 minutes, sneaking the ball underneath the American goalkeeper's armpit, essentially. Debadine has started well for the USA there. I'm not sure who the pass was to. This was called for danger. And then, well, I think China have been listening to commentary, Helen, because during commentary we kept saying, first penalty corner will go to Gu Bingfeng. They ran 3 castles and went nowhere near her, and it tricked the USA. She has her 7th career goal. But a platform for the US to build on. They're definitely still in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a long way to go, and it's probably been pretty even actually so far. Though China have the lead, have definitely not been dominating the game, dominating possession even, so lots of improvement for both teams.
Nanan goes to a tablet where she will be getting constant feedback from the former Spain head coach Adrian Locke, who has joined the outfit with China. Dave Passmore just having a quarter-time snack. Englishman whose family live in Ireland. Dr. Dave Passmore, actually, to give him his full entitlement. Lee comes in. Adrian Locke joined after ending his attachment to the Spanish team, and now is the video analyst for China. A long list of quality coaches connected to them.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Alice Lannon's building a very experienced coaching team around her. It's just going to benefit her and the Chinese team. I was actually thinking, I was coached by David Passmore when under 21s. I was trying to remember how many years ago it was, about 27 years ago. I couldn't believe it.
Loader shoulder backs away. We haven't aged a bit, Helen. Has Dave?
It's not changed.
No, not changed at all, no. No, it's... I actually once went to a training camp where it was Danny Kerry and David Passmore were the 2 coaches. That was a while back as well. Not at the same level, I must add, but 2 pretty good coaches. Even if some of the players didn't quite live up to the same level. As Li Hong will restart. USA 0, China 1. Ashley Sessa dropping back to challenge. Ball from Chen Tong. Lovely skill. Li Hong into the circle it goes, bobbling, bouncing off the end line. Long corner. Just sense at the moment that China have more link-up play in the final third. Chen Tong again. We're fortunate to break through the challenge there. Of course, China opened their campaign with back-to-back victories, 3rd and 4th of February in Bhubaneswar. Seems a long time ago now. 2 weekends ago. Winning 2-1 against India. 3-0 against Australia. I'm trying to think now where Australia sit in the table. It's only 1 or 2 losses for the Australian team in the competition so far. China 3-0 and Netherlands 6-2. I think with the way Netherlands are playing tells you more about Australia that they've managed to score 2 goals against them as the ball pops up dangerously and Tamer can restart for the USA into the circle. Oh, sneaking to Sessa who couldn't connect. Very important touch there from Marning.
Yeah, definitely. USA just trying to put it into the circle. Whether they need to be a little bit more deliberate what they're trying to do there.
Nicely moved on. Lee Hop into the circle. Cross comes in. It's dealt with. Sumfest stepping across to receive the ball off the kicker of Bing. Steady build up again from China. Tang Jingshuang moves it on to Yan Liu. Jiaqi finds a way through. There's a gap and it's in again. And it's 2-0. And it's the smiling face of Zhong Jiaqi. And China double their lead.
That's the strength of China. You know, picking the ball strong, turning strong, getting it really strong across the face of the goal. Great strength in there. Lovely how she moves on the ball. Again, Bing in goal, won't be pleased with the outcome. Just the inside of her pad and going through her legs.
She scored from that sort of angle at Homebush, a place that you were talking about. Well, not the specific place, but the Olympic Games in Sydney 2000. Zhong Jiaqi scored against Australia from that angle, a very cheekily finished goal last season in the FIH Pro League against Australia, where she scored 2 in open play. That one a little bit more fortunate. The one last season was actually, it went in for the, if I remember rightly, Skill of the Season Awards. I don't think the goal there against the USA will be given the same merit, but she does have a habit from shooting from cute angles. As Howell moves away, 2-0. Oh, and Jiaqi so far as Fan moves on down the left-hand side. Still 10 minutes and change to go in the first half. Dan Wen. Jiaqi wins possession. And now the character of this US team really will be tested, because Dan Wen is swarming towards goal for China. It's well worked by Jaeger. Lovely still back from Jiaqi. Bing has to be very careful and gives away the long corner. Just over 50 caps now. Foot seen inside the circle. Sana Carls. Everywhere the USA have the ball, they seem to have 3 red shirts around them. Dan Wen into the circle, who gets sandwiched.
They're really struggling with this Chinese press, aren't they? China getting so many numbers around the ball.
You can see it when the US restart as well. Ali Hamill looked up a moment ago. And you can almost see her sort of look of where are the options as that time China with a great chance from Pearl, but they don't hit the target.
No, really nicely worked and maybe a bit fortuitous. It's fallen to Pearl there, but would have been better.
Would have been a first career goal. Debut against the USA here. In addition, Gulbeneshwar, excuse me.
I'm sure she realised how much time she actually had. I mean, her first time shot was the right thing to do. She could have even trapped it and got even more kind of strength on the ball, but didn't make the connection at all.
Of course, plenty of highlights to catch up on from the Pro League. There was the Argentina leg overnight. Across to Kraus, who played it infield to shoulder. Having more of a impression on the game today, Meredith's shoulder being offered more space in the midfield as Hamill, crunching ball onto the foot, finding Tang. A penalty corner going the USA's way.
Yeah, I mean, a hard hit into the D and got a little deflection off Sessa's stick. I mean, good timing for them to get something that, it would have been a long kind of game for them so far. So.
The thing for the USA in this game is it's actually quite refreshing to see a direct approach there. We said about Ali Hamill looking up and not really having many options on. Sometimes, I'm not meaning they want to hit and hope it, but to a degree, actually being direct can make it more difficult. Jaeger wasn't far away from the top corner, Beth Jaeger.
Yeah, decent drag flick. It's literally a few inches, isn't it? Just past the kind of crossbar side post.
That would have been one to celebrate for the week for Beth Jaeger. 9th career goal that she scored it. Comes from Connecticut. Sessa seemed to pop it back in, and I thought she was going to review that. I thought she'd found the boot of the player. Jaeger takes the ball, leaves the Chinese player with no stick in their hands.
Coming back to your point, Dan, I think whenever I've played the USA or over the years, when they've been at their best and really hard to beat is when they are really direct, actually. Not just hitting it into the D, but also like just going at you with the ball as well. But like you say, it can't just be a hit and hope approach. But when they do go at the D consistently, yeah, it does. You have to be really aware and on your toes, and it creates questions.
But also in terms of their tactical setup, as China look to go down the right-hand side. If you're playing a 4-4-2, it's like, to a degree, it's likely that your forwards are going to be a little bit more narrow because your width is coming through the midfield. So there, as we saw, when they actually went straight, direct to goal, and fast, you would expect there to be some potential openings for the USA, or more, more options for the forwards. Anyway, Gonzalez goes wide. Lovely hands from Fan, but it's stolen off her by Leah Kraus. Down the line towards Gonzalez once more. Ball moved away. Did well there to keep control of that as Galini replaces her, like-for-like replacement in the American midfield. Page wants the ball, she gets it now.
I mean, she did really well, coming off the line, and moving on the ball from the page, but then just that lack of quality.
Now the drive, Li Hong found on the right-hand side. She pulls it back across. Sunfest has to track her back. In comes Yang. Control and retention of the ball from the Chinese. Well work by De Vries. Li Hong. Of course, in your career, you would have gone through a spell where, to a degree, these two teams kind of traded places in terms of quality. China would have been very strong in the earlier part of your career, and in the latter part, or at least around 2012, 2014 sort of time, the USA were very strong.
Yeah, for sure. And they offer very different challenges.
In what way? Explain that to the viewer at home who may not have watched hockey back then. Why were they different? In what way were they different from each other?
Yeah, so certainly, like China, when I played them when they're at their best, they're very much playing the channel, very like kind of pass the ball to forehand, pick and roll, and just stay in the channel and try and create overloads. USA, on the other hand, were very direct, like we've already said. They would very quick and very fast, and they would try and just pump the ball into the Ds as many times as they could within the game, and you just had to have your wits about you the whole game, offering those different challenges.
I remember your Olympic qualifier for Rio, which America were at, was in Valencia in Spain, and the American team there were very fast and incredibly physically fit as well. They just ran all day, which is now how every team is. But back then it wasn't quite the same. I don't think there was quite the investment in strength and conditioning and that side of things at that time.
So USA at that time had Dave Hamilton, the GB, old strength and conditioning coach, who had done wonders with us at the London Olympics, and then he went across to USA with Greg Parnham. And you know, he actually made the USA team much fitter and much more efficient. I think they was, you know, you think of USA being strong and fit, but there was always something more that they could give and get out of them. They would work really hard, but they wouldn't. You know, they kind of flagged towards the end of the games, and that was one of the things that Dave Hamilton brought to them.
Ball up and Debadine across, and offload. Sunfest lacking that control as Zhang Ying pressurised. After today, China's next game in the Pro League, 29th of May, against Argentina, who had a good win overnight against Germany. Tamer into the circle, gives away the free hit.
Tamer's not happy who she think. I mean, Robertson, the umpire, saying that she obstructed the ball. I'm not quite sure it went under her feet enough for that to be obstruction.
It depends where the obstruction was deemed to happen, because she definitely got tripped.
Yeah.
But if that's happened after the obstruction, which is what Christy Robertson's saying, there's not much argument. They don't review it. They end of the half, and at the moment it's still relatively even. The US have had a few forays forward. Darsanan and her team a 2-goal lead now, thanks firstly to Out, the captain, and then Jiaqi with a second on 19 minutes. Jiaqi extending the lead, and China at the moment controlling their way towards a 5th win.
Come
That's a superb knock. Very special man.
तो आइए इंडियन क्रिकेट के राइजिंग स्टार्स को चीयर करें। देखिए IDFC फर्स्ट बैंक रणजी ट्रॉफी जियो सिनेमा और स्पोर्ट्स 18 पर लाइव। It's game time and we're loading up the best players in the world for every position. The best forwards.
Now angle goes the goal and finds it.
The midfield maestros. The ultimate defenders.
He has several options available.
And the world-class goalies. The world's best players for all positions play in La Liga. So why watch anything else? Only on Geo Cinema and Sports 18.
You heard him comment on the players. Now see him enter the field of play. As a coach, as an umpire,
On the buzzer first for Sunbeam Nairtara.
as a cheerleader.
In the Ultimate Sports Quiz 2023. It's not just a quiz, but a clash of India's youngest and brightest minds. The Ultimate Sports Quiz 2023.
ना इधर ना उधर, इस बार टाटा IPL सिर्फ जियो सिनेमा पर।
He's broken the stumps. 5-6 is it? Drive for the king. Danger. Welcome back. A good start for China. Now the captain and Zhong Jiaqi on those baseline runs where she sneakily shot and found a way home. Means that the USA are 2-0 down. Al and China looking to extend their way to 15 points, which would be a really good return from 8 games in the FIH Pro League. This is how the match has gone so far. Devonine trying to be positive, trying to push the USA forward, couldn't quite link up. China made that one dangerous. A penalty corner came later on, and Al, with 3 castles, was the go-to, the surprise package, the one that no one expected. Zhang and Gu unused. Goal for China. Zimmer worked it across. De Vries couldn't hold on to the ball. And then Jiaqi, shoot from anywhere, you might score, and she did. And a metre off the baseline when she put the shot goalwards, and Bing unable to keep it out the net. 2-0. Lovely step, to be fair. China, half the job done. Jaeger, this Helen was not far away at all from being a really nice goal, which the USA needed, but they didn't score it. They haven't scored any penalty corners this evening yet. China have scored 1. They scored 1 field goal. No cards so far, and it is 2-0. Possession-wise, fairly even, I'd imagine. It's predicted that there will be 20,000 people in for the next game. I've just heard from on site. It is predicted there will be 20,000 people in for the next game, and I know from a very good source, the players are incredibly excited about that prospect. What a moment it would be for the FIH Pro League to have 20,000 people cheering in the stands of the Bursamunda. We're going to hear from Alison Annan ahead of the second half of the USA-China. Here she is.
A very good first half is the last game here. So what can we expect more from China going into the second half?
I think we're dominating the play, but we're not dangerous. So we're not creating enough from our dominance, and I think that's something that we have to really learn. And I hope to bring that in the second half.
And a word about the crowd here.
Yeah, it's always good to play here. I mean, it's a fantastic stadium, and the crowd's pretty good tonight.
Good luck for the second half.
The crowd are very much filling up, as we said, with Australia playing India next. It'd be amazing if it is absolutely packed for that. And Alison Anand's grin there told you everything you needed to know. No wonder or doubt who they're supporting. There's a fair point, though, in terms of generating and creating this ongoing winning culture around this Chinese team. If you're playing against a team that you think or believe that you should beat, it's about not just beating teams, but really going for it, really imposing yourself on teams. It's something the Dutch do very well, something the Dutch struggled to do against India the other day, but I believe that was more because of how India played. I don't think the Dutch actually had a bad game, to be fair. Great inspiration for these kids as well. I've been watching.
Fantastic to see. Yeah, I think the Chinese players, as Alison says, been doing okay, but there's been like little mistraps, little bad decisions of when to go and when not to go. And I love her. She's kind of bringing her Australian winning mentality to this Chinese team. She wants more. She always wants more.
I assume they were representing different houses within the school. There's always the four colours of every house in every school in the world, isn't it? Just with
I
different
wouldn't know.
names.
I didn't have houses in
Didn't
my,
have houses
in my
in your school?
comprehensive. No.
I'm talking primary school.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no,
never-
this isn't a class war.
I've never been
No,
there.
it's not. No, I was
I've
staying
never
at school.
been part of a house.
Ah, missed out. Well, India will be on against Australia in a bit. Here's Dave
Well,
Passmore.
once again, not a great start to that half. So again, are we looking at a performance coming from behind from the USA?
Yeah, no, I think what the FIH are asking us to do is the impossible, to come and get exciting games after 17 matches and 48 days in a country. But as I said to the athletes, we've nothing to lose, so we've got to bring heart, we've got to bring character, and we've got to bring fight. And I genuinely believe if we can get a goal and make it 2-1, the game will change and we'll fill ourselves with confidence.
Good luck for the second half.
Interesting words from David Passmore there. The USA trying to raise themselves. 2-0 down.
But he's protecting his players there, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's obviously watching from above, and he's instead of getting frustrated with them, he's getting frustrated with the situation that they're in, and which is great actually. It's great to see from a coach, because you don't want coaches to be having players and be disappointed with them, and that's all he can ask from them, is to go out and play with the passion that they always play with. And actually, I think when they get home and they have a bit of time to rest and recover, they'll look back on this tour and the relationships that they've built, and that connection, having that thing of like we've had to go through this and we've done it together. That goes a long way in sport, trust me.
On what you said there, Helen, I completely agree. I think it will be that thing in months or years to come for the USA, where frustration has spilled out in what Dave said there, but when they look at each other at, a training camp back in the USA, or when they're on their European tour in the summer, which isn't quite as long, there will be those moments of, we've been through more difficult scenarios than this together. We got through it okay, we moved on. They of course had the difficult scenario that they've had back-to-back tournaments in India with 2 weeks in between, which in real terms is enough time to go home. They chose to stay on and go to Goa and spend time by the beach.
In real terms, but it's not really, because with the time difference, by the time you get home, you'd have to come back out again in order to adjust, and so it's not I think the decision to stay out there was probably the right one. Try and just recover and get away from each other as much as you can, but they're still not home and with family, and that's probably one of the hardest things for them all.
Gu Bingfeng restarts for China. It's 2-0. Welcome back to the action. Third quarter here at Bursamunder Stadium, which is just filling up nicely with India playing Australia next. The home crowd very knowledgeable. I think rumours are it may well be pretty much full here in the 20,000-seater stadium. Debate ahead of the last World Cup, was it the biggest stadium in the world, and it was settled upon in the Guinness World Records as the largest seated stadium in hockey. They're very proud of that in Wroclaw. Stroke fortune there for the Chinese player, because I've seen players carded for that before, running through and putting the ball in the goal. Shoulder. Pick and turn from Ju. Ju went Yu. Funny atmosphere in this game because it's the game before India play. Almost a polite hum around the ground. And I think also there's going to be a card there. I think. Time stops as Fan backs away. Strong tackle. I don't think a card's actually been shown. Ball in from Ali Hamill, who has played really well for the USA this evening, but forcing it slightly. I think the issue as well is there's only been a couple of goals, and at the moment China in control, which means the crowd aren't really getting up off their seats at the moment, but I've no doubt they will later on.
It's just that murmur, isn't there? The conversation that's probably going on as they wait for the Indian team to come out and play.
I wouldn't be surprised if India walk out later on and Savita or someone gets spotted and the crowd go crazy for her. Knocked back by Meredith's shoulder. Of course, yesterday we covered the India versus Ireland game, and how impressed were you with how Ireland nullified India for such a long time? I think the biggest compliment for Ireland was what Harmanpreet said after the game, which is he hasn't actually seen a team defend that well against them in a long time, as Songfest gets a yellow for sticking the boot out there. That's a interesting manoeuvre.
Yeah, she didn't actually. I'm not sure she made contact with the ball, but like a tired reaction. But yeah, no, I mean Ireland, the heartbreak in the end, wasn't it? To not get their first point. They managed to defend so well throughout nearly the entire game.
Nice manoeuvre on from Yang. Ball into the circle, Ma Ning has it, and it just drifts past the post as Liu Hua stepped away.
Ma Ning, she had enough space and time to actually take it a little bit more to the back space and really wind up and give that a proper backhand shot. Chose to do a little dink, and wasn't a shot or a pass. But a great opportunity to probably seal this game.
I think the words of the umpire were that Cassie Songfest, who we see there, is 10-minute yellow, I believe. We'll try and get confirmation on that from pitch side. Former University of Carolina player. Took up the sport in 2009, which was that 14 years ago, and she's 25, so she was about 11 at the time. 10 or 11. Went along to watch an under-19s tournament. They were short on numbers, so she ended up playing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Had a baptism of fire at 10 years of age, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Give us your best stories of how you joined in. You see how to join in the conversation on social media as Yang Louis moves the ball forward towards Dan Wen. China still failing in this last third of the pitch just to really turn on the style at the moment. And
yeah, and obviously it's going to be a hard 10 minutes for USA, but kind of from China and Alison Allen's perspective, she's going to want her team to really take advantage of this overload that they have now. Playing against 10 players. These missed traps are just letting them down.
Galini. Golgamuth gets the ball quickly, wants to go quickly, but then stalls. USA playing with 10 players. Cassie Sunfest yellow carded. Just a bit of a silly moment where she stuck her foot out. Zimmer. Nice ball to Golgamuth. Zimmer once more. Swing and she hits the turf. It's collected by Liu Hua. And then on goes Jean-Miron. Oh, lovely squeeze from Jean-Miron. Paige standing strong, doing really well in the circle there. She was under a lot of pressure.
Nice little squeeze. The ball.
Suiting China at the moment. Delaney. Golgamuth. Ball. Zimmer. That one just drifts out of play. Mr. Page couldn't hold on to it. Hong wins the free hit. LePage has to back away. Shoulder comes out, misses the challenge. Dan went into the circle. It goes. China lose possession. Zhang Yin trying to get on the end of it. Zimmer finds Dear Kraus. Lovely pick from Jan. Name means snow. She's known as Snow within the team, I believe. I believe it's a translation, literal translation of her name. The team a while now. Jiao Jiaozhu. Shoulder moves the ball across. I know that because it caused me great confusion one year when I got the team list and it had been translated from Chinese, and it was there I had to ask Rick Charlesworth, a good old mate of mine. He confirmed it for me. Good work there from Golgamuth. Intensity of the game's just drifted completely, hasn't it, Hit?
Yeah, I think it's possibly not a bad thing for USA, to be honest. It could do with just trying to keep the ball for longer periods of time.
Simon Carls. Really nice skill from Carls. And a good save from Lee. Penalty corner. Jiao in goal again, penalty corner. Lovely skill, Sana Carls.
Yeah, nice skills from Carls. And actually, I think China just over-defending the outside, allowing Carls to come in through the middle of the pitch. Turn in and weave in and getting a decent shot.
Yeah, Jiao lifting the ball dangerously off the shot.
Yeah, should be disappointed with that. Should have really clear that well out of the circle.
So Sessa will inject for the USA. Jaeger, it will be stepping forward. China managed to defend that really well. And again, Zhang Ying comes back quicker than anyone else. So eventually the glove is removed by the Chinese by Li Hong. Basically trying to get rid of her protective gear as quick as she could.
Easy save. Not really making it hard. Jaeger.
Most difficult thing for Yi Zhao there was actually Tan in front of her, who almost deflected the ball about half a metre in front of the goalkeeper. Marning. Bouncing ball to the right hand side. China trying to reassert themselves on the USA here. Yang. Ooh. Ball pace. Slight touch back inside. Sessa felt she should have got the call. Tamer doesn't get the call. Out. Moves it onto the right hand side and Fan Yunjia.
Yeah, USA might be feeling a little bit unlucky there. I thought it hit the arm. Above the glove. Chinese defender.
Yeah, finds Fan again. Kraus his play on and Jaeger doesn't turn to see what the umpire was saying. Here to Lechia. He was shouting from the sidelines. Good turn from shoulder. Burst onto the scene last year. There's a real physicality in the central midfield for the USA. Struggled a bit more this year to really stand for authority on games. Murder's shoulder. Jaeger. He's having a good game tonight.
It's often the way. The second year is always harder than the first. When it comes through in that first year and people don't know who you are or what to expect or how you play, and then that second year they know all that stuff.
She's also playing in one of those positions which it's hard to be dominant in because it can take a few years to learn the tricks of the trade, as it were.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the central midfield.
There is.
A lot that goes unseen. I'd always love to have a camera that just follows the sort of centre midfield battle, so you can really see what's happening to unsettled players. As Sunfest did some unsettling earlier and picked up a yellow card because of it. LePage. Strong tackle from Cheng Jiaoju. Sunfest wins 8. Thought she'd won a free hit, it goes the other way. You're a big appealer for the ball in your hockey days. This conversation where your face tells me that yes, you were.
I'm just laughing at the umpire's response to that question.
Yeah.
Would probably be a massive yes.
Yeah.
I think you can't. I think I would appeal but play on.
Yeah.
I learned that very early on. You know, you have to play on, and obviously with how hockey's developed with it becoming even quicker, there's no time to stop. I feel like it's not a bad thing if it doesn't affect you and you're not stopping. I actually think it's a positive thing because it means you're in the game. It means you're aware of what's going on.
I was having a conversation on social media the other day actually with someone from America about appealing, because I made a comment about it on air the other day, and they said, oh, it's really, really common and sort of the norm within the culture, within American hockey and the collegiate system. And they were asking me where the comment came from. My view was, I think it's different in different cultures. Different cultures see appealing within hockey in a different way. There goes the hooter. The USA have done everything they can to try and increase the tempo, but going down to 10 players didn't help them through that quarter. Kessie Sunfest getting a yellow card. It remains 2-0. The goals of Ao Jia and Jia Qi for China making the difference so far. So we're back at the highlights of that third quarter. There, China probably should have done better. Lovely piece of skill from Zhou Mei Rong. So Nicole's shown how talented she is. Yeah, Zhao on her 100th cap though, finding that easier to save than the ball earlier on that Jaeger zinged past the upright. Alison Anna didn't look overly impressed as she walked away there.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, USA played with 10 players, 10 minutes in that game, and they didn't really. They should have dominated possession for the whole of that 10 minutes and improved their lead. And actually, like that's normally a real strength of China. They like to overload pockets and should play into their hands, but they didn't really create a huge amount in that phase at all.
Jenny Rizzo is in for her 19th appearance. Only match in the Olympic qualifiers was the final against Germany in Ranchi, after they'd already qualified. Giving Rizzo an opportunity to experience the atmosphere of playing in front of an Indian crowd. I'll come back to the action. Of course, those finals in the Olympic qualifiers were, I've described them in Valencia where I was working on them, as utterly bizarre because you've already qualified for Olympic Games. So in essence, the game that mattered was the semi-final and the bronze. Tong Chen Tong picks up a green card. I don't think I've ever seen finals that in real terms meant so little, which is a really bizarre thing to say. Of course, the winner still wants to win them, but it didn't actually really hold a great deal of significance who won the Olympic qualifier finals, because any team losing them but then going on to medal at the Olympic Games, I know what they'd have cared more about. You, of course, played in a final of the Olympic qualifiers back in 2015 in Valencia against China. I think you won 2-0. I'll double check in a second, but
Yes.
It was against China.
2016.
2016, sorry.
Yeah.
2015. 2015, the qualifying June. 2015. I'm going to double check this now. As forward come China on the ball. What? It's dispossessed.
Yeah, you're right, it was 2015.
It was Hockey World League Finals 2015, it was, yeah. And then 2017 was the next one. Ball across, and China. Jan couldn't quite get there as Zimmer played the ball away.
Yeah, and it was Germany that we had in the semi-final. Won 1-0. We were backs against the wall for the last 10 minutes, I think.
Ball across, what a save from Rizzo.
Great save. Nice reaction. Nice first touch.
To the circle it goes. Rizzo again, side footing, comfortably, easily. Forwards find Damwen again. She bursts into the 23, offloads. Can't quite find Zhao Mei Rong. On 2-0 against China. Holly Webb, as she was back then. She went on to score a quite important goal a year later. And Alex Danson.
It's funny because I barely remember that final. Like you say, the big one that I remember was the semi-final because that qualified us for the Olympic Games.
And Owsley scoring 7 minutes in against Germany to win 1-0. As forward come China again. China won their semi-final there against Argentina 2-1, interestingly. Ball across. Moving it into the back space was Hao Guoting. Still remains goalless in her international career.
Really well worked. Moving the ball into that back space is so difficult to defend against. You have to be, as a defender, prepared to take one on the body to defend that.
Oh. Back into the game is Chen Tong now after that green card earlier on. Quickly along to Fan. Danger. It's always going to be called as danger there. The reverse stick shot was...
Yeah, I made a great touch.
Came off the American player. Lovely touch from Zhao Mei Rong. Very good finish.
Well, particularly as it got a, yeah, as you say, it got a little touch from Hemmel, top of the D.
Zimmer. Game just opening up a little bit more here, and Zimmer trying to take advantage of that. I'd say all that was to neither player really. She had Jaeger up ahead of her and a player to the left-hand side, and she didn't quite find either. Jaeger does brilliantly. And now the charge lifted over the top, and that's really well dealt with on the line. Play continues. Tan stops China from being pegged back as Lee came out.
Oh, this is such a great opportunity.
Tamer with the dink flick.
Yeah, I mean, she chose obviously to stop and try and lift it over. Keeper maybe driving to the right hand side. Would have been a better option.
Jan, nice tackle back from Zimmer, who's worked tirelessly today, and there have been some really impressive performances from both teams today. US, the likes of Zimmer, the likes of Jaeger, Hamill as well, I think has had a very strong game in a difficult. Scenario. Ball across. Rizzo. Saves again. Jan. Back to Zhao Mei Rong. Rizzo saves again.
Rizzo's having a stormer.
Quite impressive so far.
She's had to save about 4 or 5. So China have clearly upped the game a little bit. Starting to play with a little bit more intensity. Good save from her. Fairly straight at her, but a difficult height. Chinese player jumping in front, the American asking why it was blown, and there were too many players in the space was the answer from Alicia Newman. Sessa. Zimmer. Good use of the left shoulder almost there, just to shield without making it illegal as she drove into the space. brilliant from Zimmer. Like they're the really good hard runs you need at this point in the tour, this point in the game, and she's done really well.
She's got speed, Zimmer. You don't always find her in a space where she can really utilise it down that line. Nice pick and drive. Through from Lee Hong. Tamer had a busy time herself, went to the Under-21s World Cup. Left the line for the USA there. Hamill. Volgemuth. Goes Zimmer once more. It's Tamer. Flatters it onto the boot of Ju Wenyu.
USA can just get a goal in this dying minutes. You never know what can happen. It's still only 2-0. It'll do wonders for their confidence to be able to get something in the game at this point.
Oscar's penalised. Runs away with a comment for herself and a comment for the umpire.
Much has gone their way, I don't think, today.
Just pops up. Zimmer again. Tell you what, we've got to think about player of the match. It always comes from the winning team. Most sports, and including in that in hockey. But Maddie Zimmer has played fantastically for the US today. Just tried to add that positive energy that they very much need at the moment as she goes back in there again and tackles Chang Ying. Sunfest. Another strong challenge from Zhang Jiaozhu. Shoulder. The page. Zhang just leaning on her there. Umpire thought about blowing the whistle, but play continues. Sana Carls collects. Nice from Galini. Carls gets going. Has to move it 5 before going in. She's now double teamed, which makes life harder. Galini collects and penalty corner, I think, has been given. Must have been given.
Yeah, good work from Carls and Galini. In the tight areas, they need to play expansive at this point. Just getting strong and in front of the ball, and Galini's done really well there to get her stick in front of defender. Just there.
Tessa to the top of the circle. Sunfest just had to change her run. Shoulder pulls it across. Galini. Just wide of the mark. It wasn't a bad flick, bearing in mind Sunfest had to readjust her run right at the last moment.
Yeah, the post has just got it on the line. It might have been hitting the post. A bit gone through, but Galini, the ball just moving away from her. Difficult to get that on target.
Middle of midfield taken by Yang Liu. right-hand side of the D again. How just tripping the player in front of her slightly. Sessa. It's a good tackle though on retreat by Howe. The Page. Sorry, Kisha, excuse me. Tamer. Tamer's still going. Abby Tamer, it pops up kindly for her reverse stick, and I think it came off Linnea Gonzalez in front of the goalkeeper. Lee Carnes got a touch because it's a free out to China.
It's good skill from Tamer. Oh, such a good chance. And actually they've created some really nice chances.
That would have been a very good save. Had it been missed by Gonzalez as well. Should have had to really pull that out of the top drawer, Lee there. It's brave defending, really brave defending. Ashley Sessa having a swing.
Yeah, I love how Sessa's gone for that though. Like really, she's really gone for it. She could have maybe taken it a little bit further back, but that is really good defending.
Tanit was stepping in, brave. Out. This is China's last 1.5 minutes before get a bit of a break. Next Pro League games end of May for them, and it would be the 5th win of the campaign, which is a really good start to the season for a team who last year were very much within the 3 or 4 teams that were concerned about relegation for a long time. Ball forward finds Tamer. Oh, can't quite finish. Even with, I think it was Galini diving into the back post. They went the other way.
Lovely pick and roll. And that's where you just need it to go across the goal. Like you say, you got Galini at the far post, and even if it doesn't get to her, the keeper has to make a save. It comes back out, the rebounds, that's the details that can make the difference.
For the USA, it seems to me that their issue at the moment is the first half of games. Against Australia, it took them 3 quarters to get going. Against China, it took them 2 quarters to get going. The difficulty is by the time they do get going, or have in those 2 games, the other teams had a 2 or 3 goal advantage and can control things to some degree. Jan picked up and driven away by Emma Devady, and there the conclusion of China's games here in India ends with a 5th win. An impressive performance from them, finishing with wins over India twice, Australia, USA twice, losses against the Netherlands, Australia and the Netherlands again. China here beat the USA, United States 0, China 2. For the USA, they have 1 game to come tomorrow against India, as they look to get their first points of the campaign.